Well, folks, here we are again. We are pleased to announce, after some extensive promotions on small-town AM radio and 6 months of hard work from a marketing genius who claims to know a dog walker formerly employed by Mr. Beast's muffin waxer, the PG Nip now has 7 subscribers.
Coming soon on the practical guide to nothing in particular, Mysteries of the World. Our panel host, Melanoma Sparkle, interviews the top scientists from around the Earth and other nearby planets to discuss the difficult questions that have been mystifying mankind for decades. Troublesome questions like the following.
Where do Catholic churches get their holy water from? Does it have to be blessed by the Pope? Can they just buy it on Amazon? If so, how do they know it's authentic? Are there scammers trying to sell holy water on Amazon? If not, could a person with some empty bottles and some home-printed labels adorned with pirated Christian clip art make a decent income at it? Why is it that a regular bag of potato crisps costs fucking $5 now? Is this the work of Satan? We've all seen it. Sometimes it gets on your shoes. Farmers grow potatoes in it. But where does this so-called dirt come from? And is it really as dirty as it sounds? A special 2-hour expose delves deep into the dirty filth that surrounds our planet. Every human over the age of 12 has a smartphone in their pocket with a high-resolution software-enhanced autofocus camera. Yet why is all the video evidence of UFOs we ever see really blurry and only filmed near Air Force bases or in areas of the country prone to crystal meth usage? Are us human people really as smart as us think we is? Or are we just flailing around noisily like a skeleton having a wank in a biscuit tin? How many Canadian politicians are for real actual lizard people from the planet Nibiru? Scientists thought they had proof Stephen Harper was a lizard a few years ago, but further studies of Harper's unblinking eyes and synthetic hair made it clear that he was instead just a first-generation AI cyborg. But what about Poilievre? Is he a lizard man? And if so, is that what Canadians need?
Join us to uncover and unlock the mysteries of the world. Thursdays at 9 p.m., only on the PG Nip.
Good morning. To remain in compliance with new regulations and legislation passed by the CRTC and House of Commons, the Practical Guide to Nothing in Particular will begin to dedicate airtime for Canadians to discuss their cultures and their experiences, and to tell their stories. The first of these projects will be a reflection on Canadian issues from mid to late 2013, focusing in particular on the WWF's successful plot to remove the people's beloved copper penny. That whimsical time when the biggest issue facing Ontario was Rob Ford getting blasted on the government cheese too often, and the public's general distaste for the alleged musician Drake, and their opinions on whether he should have just stayed on Degrassi Street. Send your ideas by fax to the usual number, and if yours is chosen, you will receive a 1-year subscription to PG Nip, a custom exhaust tip with laser-engraved Kevin's Killer Tracks logo, and a mention in our year-end wrap-up mimeographed zine.
Good evening out there, and welcome back to the Home Reno Show with Gary Pops a lot of pills. I've been building shit and fixing fuck-ups for 50 years, so if you got the questions, I got the answers. Let's get right to it.
Hi, Gary. Thanks for taking my call. I'm trying to lay down some new flooring, but it keeps buckling. What do you suggest?
Well, you're going to want to get yourself a 3/4-inch squeegee sharpener and apply a generous layer of an adhesive lubricant to the affected areas. Now, be careful when doing this, as you run the risk of needing to get a board stretcher to fill the gaps if you go too far. Hope that helps. Next caller, you're on with Gary.
Yeah, hi, Gary. I've got a leaky peg box here that needs fixing right away.
Leaky peg box, eh? Haven't heard of one of those in a while. You must be living in an older home with the left-handed light switches. I suggest replacing the liner, so grab your drill silencer and your Johnson rod and head to the basement to get a good look at the underside of the butt fur.
What's a butt for?
For sitting and farting. Anyways, take an 8/16" wrench along with you, because you might need to tighten up the horizontal pole smoker. Be careful not to over-tighten now. Hope that helps. Next caller, this is Gary.
Hi, Gary. What do you think about using a bastard file for fine finishing work, like on a 1920s whisker biscuit cabinet?
Well, I say the bastard is a bit rough, but that's just the way it has to be sometimes when you're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Push and pull the bastard back and forth vigorously for a few strokes, then check to see how she's doing. If it looks good, keep giving the bastard the business. Hope that helps. Well, that's it for the Call-In Home Reno show this week. I'm Gary, and there's no need to pay a professional. You can fix it your own damn self.
Hey, man. Hey, you looking for brass knuckles? Battle axes? Ballistics? Bazookas? Bayonets? Bludgeons? Boomerangs? Beaten sticks? Bombs? Well, we got them all, and more. At Bruce Peninsula Autonomous Region's newest and biggest firearms and weapon emporium, Big Bad Billy Bob's. We're just west of Highway 6, third concession north of the Hospital Farm. The first 5 customers every day get a complimentary blunderbuss or Beretta barrel brushing courtesy of Aunt Barb, who's been staying with us the last little bit due to work out in Maine jacking up in her... Well, anyway, come on into Big Bad Billy Bob's and you won't believe your eyes.
Are you having a hard time keeping up with all these goddamn newfangled electric telephones and computators and having to sign into the Faceboogle with your thumbprint just to read a damn restaurant menu? Do you ever stare angrily at the screen, wondering what in the Sam hell is a two-faceted authentication? Do you have a hard time figuring out who's in charge of the cloud, and why don't they just have a damn customer service phone number in the yellow pages? Do you find yourself yelling into cyberspace, "I just can't understand new technology"? Well, you're not alone. The Practical Guide to Nothing in Particular is here to help. And on Can't Understand New Technology today, we've got a special report on some of the new phishing scams that are targeting many citizens. And we've got our reporter, Michael Spackle, standing by to get deep into the packets. So, Michael, can you explain to the listeners what a phishing attack is and how does it work?
Well, basically, it's when you are tricked by a website or email that looks real, but you end up instead giving your personal information or credit card number to nefarious actors.
Like Steven Seagal?
Well, not specifically, but kind of just people with bad intentions and con artists. Like maybe you want to sign up on a certain website to watch some tasteful, non-violent pornography, which still will be legal in Canada for another 2 years, by the way, and you click on a fake ad instead. The criminals are usually after either two things: your banking information or your identity.
So then what happens?
If they have certain information like your phone number, address, online passwords, they can use those for all sorts of fraudulent purposes. So you have to be really careful as to who you trust online.
So what are some good steps that people can take to help minimize this risk from phishing attacks?
Well, there's lots of ways, but I did my own research and learned that right in our own county, there's a group of local phishing experts, so I went out a few days ago deep upstream on the Sydenham River to find them. Oh, hey there. I'm Michael Spackle from the PG Nip. I was wondering if I could get your thoughts on these phishing problems we've been experiencing lately.
Jawohl.
I was just wondering if you had any tips on how people, especially seniors, can deal with the phishing attempts that seem to be increasing every year.
Attempts, you say? Well, yeah, it's definitely getting bad out here. The phishing in these parts is pitiful ever since Trudeau got himself electorated. Used to be you could come out here every morning and get yourself a nice salmon, but now I guess they are all taxed so high the poor fishies don't even have the gumption to make it out of the harbor most days.
And what do you do personally to try to avoid the phishing?
Well, now, I wouldn't say I purposely avoid it, but my wife makes me go to work 5 days a week, so it does cut down on my river time, I guess.
And have you yourself ever been involved in a phishing attack?
Well, I don't like to talk about it too much, but there was that one time last winter, but... Hey, are you recording this?
Yeah, but we've only got 4 listeners, and one of them is Andy, so that doesn't really count.
Ah, okay then. Well, last winter, me and some of the fellows from the Game and Fish Club went up the Big Head River for a spell, and we got into a bit of a tussle with some of the locals there, and anyways, things got out of hand, and Carl got a hole poked in his hip waders, and I had to knock one of them off of his boat into the water, and oh scheisse, they were all drunk and attacked us first.
So, but did you lose any of your personal information or data in this attack?
Well, come to think of it, I did. In all the commotion and flailing about, my Burton Cummings mixtape fell out of my pocket into the water.
Well, there you have it. Even if the fishing doesn't seem to be much of an issue out on this stretch of the river, it's still a lovely way to spend the afternoon. Though I seem to have lost most of the feeling in my toes.
Jesus Christ, did you really hike upstream 6 kilometers in the mud wearing just those tennis shoes?
This is Michael Spackle, heading back downstream to hopefully find my car and a pair of dry socks. Tune in next week when the producers of Can't Understand New Technology discuss a new type of connector cable called UBS or something like that. I don't know.
This is a message from Town Council. Are you looking for an exciting opportunity to help keep your community safe? Do you have the skills required to make a difference in the survival of our town? Can you commit to a summer of vigilant leisure? Well, we all like sitting around a campfire and blackening our weenies. But do we really want that raging campfire to be our own house a-burning to the ground? I think not. If you can climb a ladder and only want to work 3 hours a day, Town Council is looking for an able-bodied and mostly literate person to keep watch as our fire tower ranger. If you are interested, please send your resume, boot size, and a full-colour 8x10 full-body shot to Town Council at P.O. Box 420 in care of Cooter Butterbaugh in the HR department, or leave a post-it with your phone number on it on the pinboard down at the grocery store. Cooter will see it when he goes shopping on Wednesday. Check out our GeoCities homepage for full details, and let's all stay safe this summer.
We now join Town Council proceedings already in progress.
And that concludes the standing items portion of the agenda. On to new business. First item, public comment. Who's first up, Bailiff?
Mr. Willie Stroker from Beaver Street.
Mr. Stroker, welcome. Please speak into the microphone, Mr. Stroker.
Oh, yes. Good afternoon, Mayor, councilors. I'm here today to present you with my Groupon voucher, which entitles me to become a councillor of our fine town for a period of 24 hours, and I would like to commence my 24 hours straight away if possible.
Let's have a look at this voucher. Bailiff, can you hand it here, please? Thank you. Yes. Well, all seems to be in order here, Mr. Stroker. Whose turn is it to step aside? Any volunteers? All right, let's take a vote. Any nominations?
I nominate Lyle.
Lyle.
Seconded.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right,
Yes, yar.
Carried. Lyle, please give up your seat to Mr. Stroker and vacate the premises.
Fine, but I'm not sure why it's always got to be me. Anyways, I've got a reservation at Whiskers and Biscuits at 7, so this works out. See you next Tuesday, arseholes.
Okay, bye, dipshit.
See ya, Lyle.
Suck it, Lyle.
Mr. Stroker, please take your seat.
Thank you, Mayor.
Next item of new business.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Yes?
I'd like to raise an issue before moving on.
It's a little out of turn, but I think we can allow it.
Mayor, fellow councillors. I was anxious to join you today for a very specific reason. As you know, it has been some weeks since our town fire tower has been adequately staffed, and forest conditions out there are hotter and drier than Satan's pecker, and we all know that Ranger Juniper's glaucoma is worsening by the day. She can't smell the smoke now after her third bout of the Rona, and she can't stay awake for more than 2 hours. I mean, she's nearly 80, Frank. What's the plan here?
I'll let Councillor Cheesecake speak to that.
Councillor Stroker, as has been made public and noted in these chambers on several occasions, the search for Ranger Juniper's replacement is ongoing. In fact, didn't we have a new ranger starting on probation a few weeks ago?
Yes, Counselor. We had a young feller named Kevin who claimed to be a bit of an expert on smoke. But he kept having parties up there with devil music and was constantly tossing all his cigarette butts and McSwiggan's ale bottles over the railing. So we had to let him go before the training period was complete.
I'm afraid we're going to need a better answer than that. It's been more than a month since Juniper has even been able to climb all the way up the tower. She gets a few rungs up and has a quick look around and makes the all-clear call. I mean, I doubt she'd know she herself were on fire if not for the heat, for heaven's sakes.
As I said, we are working on...
All this is leaving us dangerously close to catastrophe, you know. Have we already forgotten that we very nearly lost the tower itself to fire only 3 weeks ago? Where was Juniper then? Halfway up, looking in the wrong direction.
What do you suggest we do, Councillor Stroker? We've posted the job on every pinboard in town. We've put out a radio advertisement, and it's prominently featured on our GeoCities homepage. I'm not sure there's much else we can do to make the public aware of this opportunity.
Yes, let's review the pinboard and online notices. Help wanted. Fire tower sitter. Preference given to applicants with at least 2 functioning senses and legs, as the tower is not yet wheelchair accessible. No mention of salary. No mention of the dangers of the job.
I hardly think an occasional sighting of the second eldest hospital daughter out in the field is really a danger.
Nevertheless, the ads aren't working. We need a different strategy.
Perhaps it's time to bring in Ranger Big Hat, who is in the gallery waiting for other business and who held the position last season.
Excellent idea, Mayor.
Ranger Big Hat, will you please come down to the microphone?
Good afternoon, Mayor, councilors.
What do you make of our tower staffing problems, Big Hat?
Well, I think Councillor Stroker's right. The ads aren't effective. As an aside, hospital sightings are neither rare nor dangerous. In fact, just last summer...
Yes. We all know about the hospital situation. It's all a matter of the public record.
Indeed. Perhaps council should consider rewriting the ad, as well as doing some community outreach, actively seek out qualified people to keep vigil over our town.
And a fine town it is!
Here.
But that doesn't change the fact that nobody has come forward and our need is immediate. Mayor, I call on you to enact your emergency powers to conscript a member of this very council to serve as fire tower watcher until such time that a permanent replacement for Ranger Juniper can be found.
Willie, I'm pretty reluctant to use those powers, but I will if it's unanimous. What does everyone say?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Agreed.
Woo-hoo. I agree.
Agreed.
That's everyone.
Very well. We'll name a temporary replacement for Ranger Juniper from this council. That person will take up their post beginning 24 hours from the end of this meeting. Because Councillor Stroker is so keen to see the tower staffed, I nominate him.
Seconded.
Then it is agreed. Councillor Stroker will climb the tower 3 times daily and report conditions beginning on...
Point of order, Mayor?
Go ahead.
24 hours from the end of this meeting will exceed the period that I've been granted to serve on this council.
Yes, right you are. It will. Therefore, I nominate Lyle.
Lyle. Seconded.
Clerk, will you send Lyle a fax detailing his new position? Thank you. Any other new business? Bylaws Department?
Well, Mayor, we're still having quite a bit of congestion with cars parked on the road shoulder near the Hospital Farm on sunny afternoons. Any suggestions?
What about some new no parking signage along that area?
Good idea. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Counselor, you seem very disagreeable today. Do you have a better idea for the council?
Absolutely, Mayor. I propose instead of no parking signs, we instead install parking meters, say at $5 an hour, and then with the additional revenues, we issue the town councilors and the mayor a pay raise. All in favor?
Aye.
Tune in for next week's Town Council session, when we'll learn who's won the contract to resurface the Sitball courts in Cloughton Avenue Park, and Council will receive the long-awaited report on whether to proceed with the co-ed bathhouse and the guinea hen abattoir projects.
Are you tired of the same old haircuts and stale pastries? Well, have we got the perfect solution for you. Introducing Whiskers and Biscuits, where style meets sweetness.
I walked into a Whiskers and Biscuits for a mustache wax and left with a fresh fade and a cannoli in my cream horn. Talk about a cut above the rest.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the barber expertly shaping my beard while simultaneously hand-frothing a batch of delicious gentleman's relish.
At Whiskers and Biscuits, our stylists are not just skilled with scissors, but are also masters and mistresses of the oven. You'll be amazed as they effortlessly create trendy hairstyles and scrumptious treats.
Step right up, folks. Get the dapper do and indulge in our famous ginger nuts. You can put them in your mouth and roll them around on your tongue.
But wait, there's more. Every customer who gets a perm will receive a complimentary stuffed muffin to satisfy their sweetest desires. It's a win-win all around.
I never experienced anything quite like Whiskers and Biscuits before. It's like getting pampered at a salon and being serviced in a bakery all at the same time. It's a little slice of sweet, buttery heaven.
So why settle for a boring barbershop or a plain old patisserie when you can have the best of both worlds? Visit Whiskers and Biscuits today.
This is the PG NIP Central Scrutinizer serving the metropolitan Grey Bruce area and beyond. Join us online or tune your shortwave dial to 146.5 megafucks to continue receiving provocative parody and all original skits. The Practical Guide to Nothing in Particular is a public service offered to Canadian citizens of all political persuasions and critical thinking abilities at no charge. We are legally required to remind you that the PG NIP and its subsidiaries have no affiliation with the Canadian Tire Corporation or the Canadian Tire Triangle Rewards Program. This concludes our broadcast day. Bon voyage.